Have you ever gently touched the skin on your hands or looked closely in the mirror and wondered why it suddenly seems thinner, drier, or more delicate than it did just a few short years ago? Perhaps you've already tried expensive creams, luxury serums, or those beautifully packaged products that promised smoother, younger-looking skin in only a few weeks. And yet, despite spending more and more money, your skin still feels rough. Those fine lines seem a little more visible each morning, and that healthy, natural glow appears to be quietly fading, little by little, day after day. If any of this sounds familiar to you, please know that you are certainly not alone. As we grow older, especially once we pass the age of 60, our skin begins to change in ways that many people never fully understand. These changes are completely natural, absolutely normal, and nothing to be ashamed of. But understanding what actually causes them can make a truly remarkable difference in how you care for your skin from this day forward. Hello, my friend, I'm Dr. Ryan Foster, and today I'd like to share with you a very different perspective on healthy, aging skin. Instead of focusing on expensive products with long, complicated ingredient lists or marketing promises that honestly sound far too good to be true, we're going to explore something much simpler, much gentler, and in many ways much wiser. Nature has quietly provided us with remarkable plant oils that have been valued and treasured for generations, passed down through families and cultures around the world. And modern research is finally helping us understand why so many of these traditional ingredients continue to earn their place in thoughtful skincare routines everywhere. Now, before we go even one step further, I'd like to make something very clear, because honesty matters deeply to me. There is no natural oil, no cream, and no serum in existence that can completely erase wrinkles overnight or somehow stop the aging process altogether. Anyone who promises you that is simply setting unrealistic expectations that will only lead to disappointment. However, and this is important, certain plant oils may genuinely help support the skin's natural barrier, improve moisture retention, soften the appearance of fine lines, and leave mature skin looking healthier and feeling far more comfortable over time, especially when used consistently as part of a sensible, overall skincare routine. And today I'll show you the 3 oils that I personally believe deserve far more attention than they currently receive. In fact, the final oil we'll discuss together is one that many people have never even heard of, yet it contains an impressive combination of naturally occurring fatty acids that mature skin often appreciates deeply. So please, stay with me right until the very end, because I promise it will be worth your time. Before we talk about any specific oil, though, we first need to understand why our skin changes so dramatically with age. Because once you truly understand what's happening beneath the surface, choosing the right products becomes so much easier and far less overwhelming. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear again and again is that wrinkles appear simply because skin gets older. But that's only part of the story. Healthy skin depends on several important building blocks, all working together in harmony. Collagen helps provide structure and firmness. Elastin allows the skin to stretch and then return to its original shape. Natural oils, produced by tiny sebaceous glands, help protect the surface and reduce moisture loss. And the skin barrier acts almost like a protective shield, keeping precious hydration locked inside while helping defend against everyday environmental stress. Over time, each of these wonderful systems gradually becomes less efficient. Collagen production slows down. Elastin fibers become less flexible and springy, natural oil production decreases noticeably, and the outer skin barrier becomes less effective at holding onto moisture. This is one very common reason mature skin often feels dry even after applying moisturizer. It's not always because you're using the wrong cream, my friend. Sometimes the skin simply struggles to keep hydration where it truly belongs. That's also why so many people begin noticing crepey skin around the neck, the chest, the arms, and the backs of the hands. These particular areas naturally have less oil production than the face, which makes age-related dryness even more noticeable there. Another significant factor is years and years of gentle exposure to sunlight. Ultraviolet radiation slowly affects collagen, elastin, and the skin barrier over time. Even if you've taken wonderful care of yourself your entire life, those effects gradually accumulate over the decades. Then there are all the everyday stressors we rarely think about: cold weather, dry indoor heating, air conditioning, harsh wind, and pollution. Even the simple act of repeated washing with harsh, stripping cleansers can slowly weaken the skin's delicate protective barrier over time. But here is the genuinely good news. Healthy skincare doesn't have to become more complicated with every passing year. In many cases, simplifying your routine while carefully choosing ingredients that help support the skin barrier can actually be far more beneficial than constantly adding new products to your shelf. And that, my friend, is exactly where carefully selected plant oils may offer such valuable support. But not every oil works the same way. Some are heavier and richer. Some absorb quickly and lightly. Some are especially abundant in fatty acids. Others provide unique antioxidant compounds. Choosing the right one depends not only on your skin type, but also on what your skin needs most right now. And in the next part, I'll explain why understanding the crucial difference between hydration and nourishment may completely change the way you think about caring for mature skin forever. One of the most common questions I receive is surprisingly simple. Dr. Foster, why does my skin still feel dry even though I moisturize faithfully every single day? It's an excellent question, and the answer often has far less to do with the moisturizer itself than with what's quietly happening underneath the surface. Let's imagine your skin as a sturdy brick wall. The skin cells themselves are the bricks, and the natural fats and oils surrounding those cells act like the mortar, holding everything firmly together. When we're younger, that wall is strong and solid. It keeps water safely inside while protecting the skin from outside irritants. As we age, however, that mortar slowly begins to weaken. Tiny gaps start to develop, moisture escapes much more easily than before, and the skin becomes rougher, tighter, and noticeably less comfortable. This gradual process is often called transepidermal water loss. The name sounds quite technical, I know, but the idea behind it is actually wonderfully simple. Your skin gradually loses water faster than it can replace it. And that's one major reason mature skin so often appears dull instead of naturally radiant. Many people respond to this by applying thicker and thicker creams several times each day. Sometimes that helps a little, and sometimes it doesn't help at all. Why is that? Because hydration and nourishment are not exactly the same thing, and this distinction changes everything. Hydration refers specifically to water. Nourishment, on the other hand, involves supporting the skin barrier with ingredients such as lipids and fatty acids that help the skin function far more effectively. Think for a moment about watering a garden. If the soil is full of cracks everywhere, then simply pouring on more and more water won't actually solve the underlying problem. The water just disappears down through the cracks even faster. But repairing the soil itself allows that moisture to remain right where it's needed most. Your skin behaves in a surprisingly similar way, and this is precisely where certain plant oils may become such valuable additions to a thoughtful skincare routine. Rather than replacing your moisturizer entirely, many natural oils work beautifully alongside it, helping reduce moisture loss and gently supporting that outer skin barrier. Of course, not all oils are created equal. Some are incredibly rich and form a more protective sealing layer. Others are lightweight and absorb quickly without ever leaving the skin feeling greasy or heavy. Instead of endlessly searching for one single magical ingredient, I much prefer thinking about oils as tools in a toolbox. Different tools serve different purposes and different needs. So let's begin with the very first oil, one that has been appreciated and used for generations: castor oil. Few natural oils have attracted as much genuine attention in recent years. Its texture is noticeably thicker than most facial oils, which means only a very small amount is usually needed each time. Castor oil naturally contains a fatty acid called ricinoleic acid, along with several other fatty acids that contribute to its wonderfully unique feel. Because of its rich, dense consistency, many people love applying it to especially dry areas, such as the elbows, the knees, the hands, or the neck, right before bedtime. Others enjoy combining just a single drop with lighter oils to make it easier to spread smoothly across larger areas of skin. Now that we've talked about why mature skin so often needs more than hydration alone, let's take an even closer look at castor oil, the first oil I recommend most often when someone asks me for an affordable, accessible place to begin. It has been used in traditional wellness practices for many generations, yet so many people still overlook it, and often for one simple reason: its texture. The very first time you pour castor oil into the palm of your hand, you'll almost certainly notice how thick and heavy it feels compared to most facial oils. Some people even wonder if it might be too heavy for their skin. Surprisingly, that rich, thick texture is exactly what makes it so genuinely useful for certain people, especially those with very dry or mature skin. While research into topical castor oil is still gently evolving and growing, many people deeply appreciate its ability to leave the skin feeling softer and far more comfortable after application. One important thing to understand here is that healthy-looking skin isn't always about making wrinkles simply disappear. Often skin appears more youthful simply because it looks smoother, feels more supple, and reflects light more evenly across its surface. Here's a fascinating little truth. Dry, rough skin actually scatters light in all directions, but well-conditioned, healthy skin reflects it beautifully. That subtle difference alone can make fine lines appear noticeably less obvious, without ever changing the actual structure of the skin itself. This is one wonderful reason so many people enjoy using a small amount of castor oil as the final step in their evening routine. It acts almost like a gentle protective layer, helping to reduce moisture loss while you sleep peacefully through the night. However, and please remember this, more is definitely not always better. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is applying far too much. Because castor oil is naturally so concentrated, you truly only need a tiny amount. A single drop may be perfectly enough for the entire face. Another single drop can easily cover the whole neck. If your hands tend to look dry or crepey, gently massaging just a little into the backs of your hands before bed can help them feel wonderfully softer by the very next morning. The neck and chest are two areas that especially deserve your attention. So many skincare routines focus almost entirely on the face alone, yet the neck often shows visible signs of aging much earlier, simply because the skin there is thinner and naturally produces far less oil. If you only ever care for your face, the difference between these two areas may gradually become more and more noticeable over time. Consistency, my friend, matters far more than quantity. Using a small amount several evenings each week is generally a much wiser and more practical approach than applying a large amount only once in a while. Now, does castor oil work perfectly for absolutely everyone? Not necessarily, and that's perfectly okay. People with very oily or acne-prone skin may prefer lighter oils instead, and anyone trying a brand new skincare ingredient should always perform a small patch test first. Healthy skincare should never ever be a race. Introduce just one new product at a time. Give your skin a genuine opportunity to respond, and then calmly decide whether it fits comfortably into your routine. There's another reason I truly appreciate castor oil. It pairs exceptionally well with other botanical oils. Instead of expecting one single ingredient to do absolutely everything, I much prefer combining ingredients that complement one another beautifully. Think of it as building a balanced, cooperative team, rather than desperately searching for one lone superstar. And speaking of superstar ingredients, the next oil we're about to discuss has quietly become one of my personal favorites for mature skin. In fact, you've very likely already used it without even realizing it, because many premium skincare products include it for its naturally occurring compounds. Let's talk about rosehip oil. If I had to choose one single botanical oil that consistently earns its rightful place in a skincare routine for mature skin, rosehip oil would be very high on my list. Despite its lovely name, it doesn't actually smell like roses at all. Instead, it comes from the fruit and the tiny seeds left behind after the rose flower has fully bloomed and faded. Inside those little seeds is a truly remarkable combination of essential fatty acids and naturally occurring compounds that have made rosehip oil a beloved favorite in skincare for many decades now. One reason people adore rosehip oil is simply how lightweight it feels on the skin. Unlike the thicker oils, it spreads easily and absorbs relatively quickly, which makes it comfortable for many different skin types. But texture is only one part of this wonderful story. As we age, the skin's natural renewal process gradually slows down. Fresh skin cells take longer to reach the surface, while older cells linger on top for much longer periods of time. The result is skin that may appear dull, uneven, and simply less radiant than it once was in younger years. Healthy cell turnover is a natural part of the skin's normal renewal cycle, and while no oil on earth can force your skin to become truly younger, the ingredients found naturally in rosehip oil may help support a healthier-looking complexion when used consistently over time. Many people also genuinely appreciate the way rosehip oil leaves the skin looking brighter and fresher without ever feeling heavy or greasy. That's precisely why you'll so often find it thoughtfully included in moisturizers, facial oils, and gentle overnight treatments designed specifically for mature skin. But there's another remarkable ingredient that deserves just as much of your attention: Bakuchiol. If you've never heard of it before today, please know you are certainly not alone in that. Over the last several years, Bakuchiol has attracted growing and enthusiastic interest because it offers a plant-derived option for people who find traditional retinoids simply too difficult to tolerate. Retinoids remain an important part of skincare for many individuals, absolutely, but they honestly don't suit everyone. Some people experience uncomfortable dryness, others notice redness or irritation, especially when first introducing them into a routine. Bakuchiol has become wonderfully popular because so many people find it far gentler while still fitting beautifully into routines focused on smoother-looking skin. The truly important word here is gentler, not stronger. Healthy skincare is rarely ever about choosing the most aggressive or powerful product available. It's about patiently finding ingredients that your skin is genuinely willing to work with, consistently, day after day, and consistency almost always outperforms intensity. That's a lesson I've watched repeat itself countless times over my years. Someone using a gentle routine faithfully every single evening for months often achieves far more comfortable, healthier-looking skin than someone constantly switching products in a frantic search for dramatic overnight results. This is why I often think of Rosehip oil and Bakuchiol as loyal partners rather than competitors. Rosehip oil helps nourish the skin and support its natural barrier. Bakuchiol then complements that routine with its own unique plant-derived properties. Together they create a simple, harmonious combination that so many people enjoy using as part of a calming evening routine. Of course, even the very best ingredients still need realistic expectations attached to them. Fine lines simply don't disappear overnight, and skin doesn't become 20 years younger in a single week. Real, meaningful progress is almost always gradual and patient. Sometimes, the very first thing people notice isn't fewer wrinkles at all. Instead, it's that their skin simply feels calmer, softer, less tight after washing, and more comfortable throughout the entire day. Those small, quiet improvements often gently encourage people to continue building healthier habits. And speaking of true nourishment, there's one remarkable botanical oil that receives far, far less attention than it genuinely deserves. It's naturally rich in several different omega fatty acids. It has a vibrant, striking color, unlike almost any other facial oil, and many people with mature skin are pleasantly and delightfully surprised the very first time they try it. Let's explore together why sea buckthorn oil has quietly become one of the most underrated oils in all of natural skincare. So far, we've talked about supporting the skin barrier, reducing moisture loss, and choosing oils that work with mature skin instead of against it. Now, I'd like to introduce you to an oil that, in my honest opinion, deserves far more recognition than it currently receives: sea buckthorn oil. Unlike many facial oils that appear pale yellow or nearly clear, sea buckthorn oil has a rich, beautiful orange color because it's naturally abundant in carotenoids. These are the very same family of plant pigments found in familiar foods like carrots and sweet potatoes. The first time you see it, you might honestly think it's far too colorful for skincare, but please don't let that vibrant color fool you. Used in the proper small amount, it's one of the most nutrient-dense botanical oils available anywhere. One of the reasons it attracts so much genuine scientific interest is its naturally occurring blend of omega fatty acids. Most people have heard of omega-3, some know about omega-6. But sea buckthorn also contains omega-7, a fatty acid that's discussed far less commonly, yet is naturally present in several tissues throughout the human body. Together with omega-9, these fatty acids help create an oil that many people with mature skin find deeply and satisfyingly nourishing. Now, it's important to understand clearly what these nutrients actually do. They don't erase wrinkles. They don't magically tighten loosed skin overnight. Instead, they gently help support a healthier skin barrier, making it easier for your skin to stay comfortable, resilient, and better protected against everyday environmental stress. Think about how your skin feels during the coldest middle of winter: cold, biting air outside, dry, artificial heating indoors, repeated hand washing throughout the day. These ordinary everyday habits slowly challenge the outer layer of the skin, and when the barrier becomes compromised, the skin may feel rough, itchy, flaky, or unusually sensitive. Many people wrongly assume they've suddenly developed sensitive skin out of nowhere, but sometimes the real issue is simply that the skin barrier itself needs support, and this is exactly where sea buckthorn oil may become particularly useful. Its unique combination of fatty acids and naturally occurring antioxidants makes it an appealing choice for individuals whose skin often feels dry, fragile, or easily irritated. In fact, many people tell me they aren't bothered most by wrinkles at all. They're bothered instead by discomfort. Their face feels tight after cleansing. Their cheeks sting when the weather changes suddenly. Their neck always feels dry, no matter what moisturizer they faithfully apply. Those are all signs that the skin may be quietly asking for barrier support rather than stronger active ingredients. Another benefit people truly appreciate is how sea buckthorn oil can leave mature skin looking healthier simply because it helps improve comfort and hydration. Comfortable skin so often looks healthier, and healthy-looking skin so often appears more radiant. Sometimes the real goal isn't looking 20 years younger at all. It's looking like the healthiest possible version of yourself today. That single mindset alone can completely transform your entire skincare routine. Now, before you rush out to buy the very first bottle you find online, let's take a moment to talk about quality, because it matters enormously. Not every facial oil is created equally. When shopping for botanical oils, I always recommend looking for products that are cold-pressed whenever possible. Cold pressing helps preserve many of the naturally occurring compounds that may be damaged or affected by excessive heat during processing. Packaging matters a great deal as well. Dark glass bottles help protect delicate oils from unnecessary exposure to light, which may help maintain their freshness over time. Once opened, always store your oils in a cool place and be sure to close the bottle tightly after every single use. Fresh oils generally provide the very best experience for your skin. If an oil ever develops an unpleasant odor or changes dramatically in its color or texture, it's usually a clear sign that it's time to replace it. Please remember, quality truly matters far more than quantity. A small bottle of a carefully produced, high-quality oil often lasts far longer than people ever expect, simply because only a few precious drops are needed during each application. Now, we've explored several outstanding oils individually, but healthy skincare isn't about collecting dozens and dozens of products. It's about thoughtfully building a routine that's simple enough to actually follow consistently. So, in this next part, I'd like to show you exactly how I would personally organize these oils into a practical evening routine for mature skin, one that takes only a few short minutes, yet may leave your skin feeling noticeably more comfortable by morning. Whenever someone asks me where they should begin, my answer is almost always exactly the same. Keep your routine simple. Healthy skin very rarely requires 15 different products. In fact, using too many active ingredients all at the same time is one of the most common reasons people experience redness, dryness, and completely unnecessary irritation. Instead of overwhelming your skin, simply give it what it truly needs, consistently. If you were sitting right across from me today, asking how I would build an evening routine around these botanical oils, here is exactly what I would recommend to you. First, always begin with clean skin. Use a gentle cleanser that removes sunscreen, makeup, and daily impurities without ever leaving your skin feeling tight or stripped. After cleansing, gently pat your face dry, and notice I said pat, not rub. Mature skin becomes thinner with age, and aggressive rubbing can create unnecessary friction and pulling, leaving the skin slightly damp, not soaking wet, just lightly and pleasantly damp, often helps the products that follow spread far more comfortably across the surface. Next comes your moisturizing step if you normally use one. A simple moisturizer provides that important hydration. The botanical oil then comes afterward to help support the skin barrier and reduce moisture loss. Think of the moisturizer as adding the water, and think of the oil as helping that precious moisture remain right where your skin can truly benefit from it. Now, let's build the oil blend together. If your skin is especially dry, begin with 1 small drop of castor oil. Remember, only a little is ever needed. Next, add several gentle drops of rosehip oil. Its lighter texture helps beautifully balance the richness of the castor oil while contributing its own naturally occurring fatty acids. If you enjoy using Bakuchiol, this is an excellent moment to include it, according to the directions provided by the manufacturer. Many people prefer applying Bakuchiol in the evening as part of a calming nighttime ritual. And for those whose skin often feels fragile or uncomfortable, adding just 1 or 2 drops of sea buckthorn oil can provide that additional nourishment. Mix everything gently between your fingertips before pressing, not rubbing, the oils onto your face. Pressing encourages even distribution while minimizing any unnecessary pulling on delicate skin. And please, don't stop at your face alone. Extend the remaining product gently across your neck, then down onto the upper chest. Finally, massage any leftover oil into the backs of your hands. Our hands quietly reveal our age, just as quickly as our faces do, yet they're so often completely forgotten. Now, I'd like to mention something equally important. Patch testing, even natural gentle ingredients, can occasionally cause irritation for some individuals. Whenever introducing a new oil, apply a small amount to an inconspicuous area, and then wait a day or two before using it more broadly across your skin. This one simple step may save you a great deal of unnecessary discomfort. Another mistake I often see is people expecting immediate, instant results. Healthy skin changes gradually and patiently. Most improvements happen because small habits are repeated consistently over weeks and months, not because of one single extraordinary application. Patience is honestly one of the most underrated skincare ingredients there is. I'd also gently encourage you to pay attention to your overall lifestyle. No facial oil can ever replace quality sleep. No serum can compensate for chronic dehydration, and no moisturizer can completely undo years of unprotected sun exposure. Healthy skin truly reflects the way we care for our bodies as a whole. Nutritious meals, rich in colorful vegetables, adequate protein, regular physical activity, staying properly hydrated, managing daily stress, and protecting your skin from excessive sunlight all work together beautifully with your skincare routine. The oils simply become one meaningful piece of a much larger, more complete picture. As our conversation together comes toward its end, I'd like to leave you with one final simple question. If you walked into my office tomorrow and said, "Dr. Foster, I don't want a complicated skincare routine. I don't want 10 different products cluttering my shelf. I simply want to take the best possible care of my skin as I grow older. Where should I begin?" My answer would be surprisingly simple. Start with consistency, not perfection. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need an entirely brand new skincare routine every single time they notice another wrinkle or another product becomes popular online. But the honest truth is that healthy skin responds remarkably well to routines that are gentle, realistic, and genuinely easy to maintain. You don't need to chase every passing trend. You don't need a cabinet overflowing with expensive jars. And you certainly don't need products that promise impossible, magical results. Your skin isn't asking you for perfection. It's simply asking you for support. So, if I truly had to narrow everything down to just 3 botanical oils for mature skin, these would be the ones I'd keep. The first is castor oil, not because it's fashionable and not because it's expensive, but because its rich texture makes it an excellent option for people whose skin feels persistently dry, especially around the neck, chest, elbows, hands, and other areas that naturally lose moisture with age. Used sparingly, it becomes a simple finishing step that helps your skin feel more comfortable overnight. My second choice would be rosehip oil. I deeply appreciate how lightweight it feels, while still providing naturally occurring fatty acids that complement a healthy routine. Many people love using it because it absorbs so comfortably and leaves the skin looking fresh, rather than heavy or greasy. It has remained popular for many decades now, and for very good reason. It's simple, it's reliable, and it's wonderfully easy to include in almost any evening routine. My third choice would be Bakuchiol. Not because it's meant to replace every other skincare ingredient, but because so many people who struggle with stronger products deeply appreciate having a gentle, plant-derived option that fits comfortably into a consistent routine. Healthy skincare is rarely about choosing the strongest possible ingredient. It's about choosing the ingredient that your skin is genuinely willing to work with, day after day after day. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't include sea buckthorn oil in my final 3. But that certainly doesn't mean it isn't excellent. Quite the opposite, in fact. For people whose skin often feels dry, fragile, or easily irritated, sea buckthorn oil may become one of the single most valuable additions to their entire routine. If I were allowed just one honorable mention, this would absolutely, without any hesitation, be it. And here's something I'd truly love for you to remember, long after this video ends. Beautiful skin is never ever created by one single bottle alone. Think of skincare as patiently building a house. Every healthy habit adds another sturdy brick. A nourishing diet provides one brick. Quality sleep adds another. Daily movement strengthens the whole foundation. Managing stress protects the entire structure. Drinking enough water supports every system in your body. And protecting your skin from excessive sun exposure helps preserve everything you've already carefully built. Then, your skincare routine simply becomes the roof that helps protect everything underneath it. When all those good habits work together in harmony, your skin so often beautifully reflects the loving care you're giving your entire body. I've personally met people in their 70s and 80s whose skin looked wonderfully healthy and vibrant, not because they finally found some miracle product, and not because they somehow never developed a single wrinkle, but because they cared for their skin gently, consistently, and patiently over many, many years. And that, my friend, is the goal I truly hope you'll aim for. Not chasing younger skin, but lovingly creating healthier skin. There's a deep and meaningful difference between those two things. Wrinkles tell the beautiful story of a life well and fully lived. Laugh lines gently remind us of countless joyful moments and shared laughter. The goal was never to erase those precious memories. The real goal is simply to keep your skin comfortable, resilient, and healthy enough to carry all of those wonderful memories forward with genuine confidence and grace. Before we finally finish today, I'd like to leave you with one last piece of heartfelt advice. Whenever you introduce a new skincare product, whether it's a botanical oil, a moisturizer, or a serum, please give it time. Real healthy skin very rarely changes overnight. Small improvements, repeated consistently over weeks and months, so often become the most rewarding and lasting transformations of all. So please, be patient and be kind with yourself. Your skin has faithfully supported you through every single season of your life. It deserves your kindness, not your frustration. If you found today's discussion genuinely helpful, I would truly love to know which of these oils you're most curious about trying first. Have you already used castor oil before? Do you enjoy rosehip oil? Or are you perhaps interested in learning more about Bakuchiol or sea buckthorn oil? Please share your experience in the comments below. Reading your stories not only helps me understand what topics you'd like to explore next together, but it also allows other viewers to learn from your valuable experiences. And if you truly enjoy evidence-based, thoughtful conversations about healthy aging, nutrition, skincare, and simple lifestyle habits that support genuine wellness after 60, I warmly invite you to subscribe and join me for many future discussions. Thank you so very much for spending part of your precious day here with me. Until next time, please take good care of yourself, be endlessly patient with your skin, and always remember that healthy aging isn't about turning back the clock. It's about helping your body and your skin look and feel their very best at every single stage of this beautiful life. I'm Dr. Ryan Foster, and I'll see you again very, very soon.